Hi guys, my name is Meital and I'm back with another video on the college audition process. I will be pursuing a BFA in musical theater at NYU Tisch at the new studio on Broadway, and I wanted to share my college audition journey with you guys. So my last video that I made, I talked about my experience auditioning for NYU and how the whole process kind of went, and this video I really wanted to be broad in general on my entire college audition process, so watch out, it's going to be a lengthy video, but I really wanted to hone in on all the little things about preparation and about what you can wear, how to talk to the auditors in the room, what to do after, how to kind of cope and research your colleges and everything. So if you're interested on learning a lot about the college audition process and the college audition journey for musical theater, please keep on watching. So if you're new to the college audition process or if you're starting out, I would say to start off with making a list of the colleges that you're interested in. And so the way you formulate that list, or start off that list, is by researching colleges that you think are the best fit for you. So for example, I knew that I wanted a rigorous musical theater training program to receive a BFA, but then I also wanted really great academics. I didn't want a specifically only conservatory style school, although I did audition for some conservatories, because you never know. You never know what schools you get into and what your options are going to be, but I really wanted to have a university that will aid me in academics, but it also make me into an incredible musical theater performer. Some examples of the schools that I was looking at was the University of Michigan, NYU, Ithaca College, Syracuse University, those kind of schools that offer BFA rigorous conservatory-style training programs, but also offer incredible academics and let you have a well-rounded university education. But if you're looking for conservatory-style training, you'd look at Boston Conservatory, Carnegie Mellon, CCM, this is Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, all those sorts of schools. So I would say to start off, if you're starting off the process as a freshman, as even younger, some of you have been messaging me and you're like, I'm 14 and I want to start the process and I'm already researching colleges because I know I want to pursue musical theater, and that's amazing. That was literally me in 8th grade. So if that's you, then I'd say by starting off making a master list or looking it up online, you can look up like colleges that have musical theater programs and it'll show like a huge master list of all the colleges that offer musical theater degrees or certificates or kind of, you know, concentrations, things like that. Another thing that you really want to start off with is know if you want a BFA or a BA, because they're two very different things. A BFA in musical theater is a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and it specifies on performance level and kind of rigorous performance classes, versus a BA is performance classes, but also you take a lot of well-rounded classes that have to do with tech or sound or costume design, basically everything that encompasses theater, and also you have a lot more academic classes in your schedule. So I knew going into this that I wanted a BFA in musical theater, so I knew going into this that I was going to audition for only BFAs, with the exception of UCLA, their musical theater program. I live in Los Angeles, so I figured why not audition for UCLA, they have a great musical theater program, and although you get a BA in theater, it's a musical theater concentration, and a lot of people just kind of talk about their musical theater program. Jessica Keenan went there. So research all your colleges and find that master list and research which schools that you're interested in and what you think fit you best. If you want a triple threat program is also something that I wanted, so look into that. If you want more acting based or more dance based, Boston Conservatory. But also some musical theater programs like Oklahoma City University or NYU Steinhardt offer different degrees. They usually offer Bachelor of Music, BMs, in vocal performance or in musical theater or things like that, so they're more vocal based. So really know what you want to study and what you think your strengths and weaknesses are, and, you know, research that. So my first tip when you're starting off the college audition process is, the biggest tip I think, is to really audition for as many schools as you can. I promise it'll be worth it in the long run, because you never know how many options you're gonna have, because they're so selective. The schools are incredibly selective. So know what schools you really want to go to, but also don't be afraid to go to walk-ins. Don't be afraid to consider schools that maybe you've heard of before, but you really need to research. So auditioning for as many schools as possible will definitely help you in the long run, because it gives you more experience, especially when you're starting off, is auditioning for schools that maybe you don't really have the strongest opinions on, that you just can kind of do for experience, and you never know. Those schools might end up the schools that you really love and admire and want to go to. So many people actually found their dream schools just by doing walk-ins, by doing those kinds of things, so that's for sure. And that just comes by like the stamina of the process, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, this audition's open, I'm gonna do it, you know? So keep doing that, and that will be extremely helpful in the process when at the end you're like, oh, okay, I have this school to choose from, this school to choose from, this school to choose from, you know, so don't audition for the schools that just have reputations, because of course they have reputations because they're great schools, but also at the same time, those are not the only schools, and those probably might not be the best fit for you, you know? So you never know. If you like a smaller class setting, if you like other things, make sure you kind of keep that into account when you're looking at your schools. Another tip I have when you're starting off, just in general, is to know a lot about each school. So research as much as you can, watch videos on YouTube, go on their website and look at all their productions, look at what people have said about the school, what the students think of it, things like that, and really kind of find your opinion on the school. And if you don't like a school, if it's a big name school and you don't like it, do not feel like you're missing out by not auditioning for it. Because if you don't think it's a good fit for you, then don't audition for it, you know? So, starting the process. So once you know what schools you're kind of thinking of auditioning for, I'd say to start preparing. So when you start off the college audition process, you really want to think about how you want to prepare. So a lot of people choose to do coaching sessions with various different types of coaches. Some do specifically musical theater audition coaches, which are out there. I use many different types of coaches, so I will talk about that right now. So I'd say my biggest tip about coaching is to start off with a vocal coach. I had a vocal coach since sophomore year of high school, so I really used him to help me with the songs that he thinks best suit my voice and things like that, and how I want to show my type to the auditors. And so figure out your type as well. Your type means how you want to showcase yourself to the auditors, which means, are you an ingenue? Are you a mean girl? Are you a powerhouse lead? Are you a quirky, funny sidekick? Are you a comedic relief? Are you the leading man? Are you anything, really? So think about what your type is and what characters you associate with, what characters your personality associates with, and kind of go around that. Or if you're somewhere in the middle, showcase that both. You can have songs in your repertoire that showcase every little part of your type. So when it comes to songs, I'd say to choose pieces that you really enjoy singing, and also to not worry about overdone songs. Overdone songs are ones that you hear all the time, but if you're the one that kills it, that you think does it better than the thousands of other people, do that song. And if it makes you feel the happiest and you think that will portray you and get you into the school, sing that song. So when it comes to the songs that you're picking when you're building your book and your repertoire, I'd say to pick songs that you really, really enjoy singing. Pick songs that make you happy and you can have fun with in the room, and you're not really stiff and worried and, oh, will I hit that note? Will I do this? You know? Pick songs that you're comfortable with, that you can slay and kill, and do that. So when it comes to coaching, on top of a vocal coach, I'd say to get an acting coach. That'll really help you with your monologues, because that really helped me. My acting coach is amazing, and she really helped me kind of figure out the little nuances that I want to play with in my monologues, and that's what really, I think, made me have fun in the room and helped me showcase myself to the auditors. And then also think about musical theater college audition coaches that specifically coach for musical theater. There are many out there. Some off the bat I'm thinking of that I used are MTCA. Musical Theater College Auditions, look them up, they're the best, I love you guys. They have a huge selection of coaches that will help you with anything, and you kind of get to choose and pair up with who you think will help be the best fit for you. And a lot of them are actually Broadway actors. So you get to really coach with Broadway actors and have them help you on your pieces, which is amazing, and obviously they know what they're doing. So I had various different coaches for the different aspects of my college auditions, and I used them all, and they all helped me in so many different ways. So for most of my research process, I did it 100% alone. I researched my colleges, I researched pieces and songs that I wanted to sing, monologues. So I really looked and researched myself on the pieces that I thought I connected with. But then also, coaches can be a really reliable, amazing resource for you to start off with. And there are coaches, especially for college auditions, that can help you right off the bat with the schools that they think best fit for you based on your interests and things like that. So really research into coaching for sure if you can. And if not, totally fine. This process is so doable without coaches, because y'all know it's hard. It's hard out there. This process is so doable without coaches, so don't worry. We all got this. You got this. I believe in you. And ultimately, in this process, it's you. you know? It's you choosing your pieces, it's you doing this. So by having someone else tell you what they think is just having somebody else's input. So if you ultimately know yourself and know what you want to show them, it's so easy to pick your own pieces. So definitely look into that, and because I picked my own pieces and it was so much fun. Alright, so once you've completed the preparation, now it's time for the audition! So the way it works is you have many options to choose from when it comes to auditioning for colleges. So the main convention for college auditions is called Unifieds, and they hold 3 conventions throughout the United States. There's one in Los Angeles, one in Chicago, and one in New York. And basically it's a weekend-long college audition convention where you audition for a bunch of schools at different times. The day you have appointments. You can also do walk-ins, which are just walk-in auditions, even if you haven't applied previously to the school. And it's super fun. In my experience, it was the best experience ever. Unifieds was so much fun for me. I loved it. I love the community, the empowerment, the vibe. Everybody is just so excited and energetic, and you make so many friends. I'm still in touch with so many friends that I made at Unifieds, and at the college auditions in general are just like, it's just the best, most motivating environment ever. So I highly suggest to be friendly if that's your thing. So now that you've completed preparation, it's time to talk about what to do when it comes to the day of the audition. So at the audition you want to present your best self, but also to not be too stiff or too nervous, too jittery, and it's okay if you're nervous. They know you're nervous. They're there to like help you, and they want you to do well. You just have to know that. So at the audition, they will most likely ask you, do you have any questions? You should almost always say yes, because you have researched the school, and then you can just show them the insight that you have on the school and ask them things that you're actually curious about, because you know, you want to apply to that school for a reason. You want to get into that school for a reason. So talk to them about any questions you have about their theater program, maybe about the shows they've done. So asking questions at the end of your audition is especially important because it not only shows them that you care about the school and that you know a lot, but also to have more time to talk to them and to be able to show them your personality and how much your passion shines through. So for the audition itself, make sure you have backup songs and songs in your book in general that if they are looking through your book and want to hear, that you'd be able to just plunk it out, and make sure the cuts are also ready. Make sure your cuts are marked thoroughly for each song. Make sure your song cuts are marked distinctly. So I would use brackets, and I would highlight the brackets, and I would write down start in small letters and then end, depending on if it's a 16 bar or 32 bar, and I would specify on the page as well. So in terms of talking to the auditors, what helped me was just my name, actually. They would ask me what my name was, and my name is Meital, so it's very unique, and so they would ask about my name, and that just started up a conversation. So find something like that about yourself that you can kind of continue and engage in conversation with them, because they want to get to know you, and they only have like 3 minutes to do so, depending on if you have a song or a monologue or both. So make sure that you just find a little thing about yourself that you can continue talking to them, ask them how their day was if they feel like they want to talk, but overall, the rule of thumb is just kind of like come in, like say hello, be friendly, but not fake, and just show them how passionate you are, and slate your name, slate your pieces, and just be yourself, be authentic, and be real, and you're gonna be amazing. Also, in the room, make sure to thank the pianist. It is so important. They do so much for you. You would be nothing without the pianist, so make sure that you thank the accompaniment, as well as the auditors themselves. Another tip that I have for being in the room is to not choreograph your songs or monologues too much, because, you know, it ends up looking like it's not authentic, and the whole point of theater is that it's live and in front of your eyes, so make sure that you do it. And you can have little things that you know you want to do, but not necessarily like, you know, over the top choreography, you know what I mean? So make sure that it's authentic and real and true. So in the room, auditions typically last from anywhere from 2 to 3.5 minutes, and then later on, if it's an interview, it can be up to like 15-30 minutes, so it depends on the school. So in the room, be sweet and confident, but don't exert fake energy, because it's just like, you know, it's common for the nerves to like kick in, and for you to be like, you know, very stiff and nervous, and that's okay to know you're nervous, but just try to be as authentic as possible. But for my singing and monologue only auditions, they lasted around 3 minutes, so just keep that in mind. So in the room, be ready for a curveball, and not in like a scary way, but just like the auditors might ask you about anything really. They can ask you about your resume, about why you're a good fit, about their school, about theater in general, why you want to pursue it, so make sure that you know enough about it and that you can tell them about it efficiently. Another big thing about being in the room is that you should be ready to work on your pieces, and the auditors might ask you to do things a certain way and just go with it. They want to see how you play with everything and take direction and if you'd be able to train with them. So just do what you can with what they give you. So don't show any frustration about it. It's always good to just be open, be game, and be ready to accept anything they say. So again, in the room, most of the time you can choose the order of your pieces. They can ask you which one you want to do first. Sometimes they have an order that they want you to do it in, depending on your cuts as well. That's when, I chose to do things differently depending on the cuts, when I wanted to showcase first kind of thing. So that's all up to you kind of. Also, when the auditors ask you if you have any questions, make sure that you give detail in your questions, and so they're able to give you the best, most insightful answer. And so even with that, you'll know if you want to go to that school. If they don't give you too many details and they're not necessarily engaging in that, that's not the fit for you. So it's a way to get to know them as much as they want to get to know you. And I think it's super important. So now let's talk about the behemoth unifieds. These conventions are super important because you're able to knock out so many auditions at a time. So I participated in both New York Unifieds and LA Unifieds, so I know a lot about the process and I can give you some insight. So at Unifieds themselves, there's going to be a lot of people all over. New York Unifieds is super crammed because it's at Pearl Studios and Ripley Geary Studios, and they have a bunch of different buildings with different floors that are all dedicated to just college auditions and the schools themselves. The hallways are going to be very busy, but it's a matter of you taking initiative and just telling yourself, like, this is my own thing, and I'm gonna just go in there and have fun and do my thing and show them what I can do. So again, most likely if you're auditioning for musical theater, you're going to encounter a dance call. And dance calls are common for almost every school. Every school does one, and it's basically a group-taught class teaching you a specific dance, and then they see you in smaller groups and evaluate your just dance skills. And many people are scared of dance calls because they're like, oh my god, I have to be incredible. But dance calls are really just to assess where you are at with your dance training. So in terms of dance calls, every school is different. Some schools choose to teach it more fast-paced, some schools are a lot slower, some schools will teach a 30-second dance, and then some schools will teach a 3-minute dance, up to 3 minutes. So you never really know what's going to be thrown at you. I know that some schools that are more dance-based will have a more rigorous dance call, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily looking for only dancers. So keep that in mind, just go in there with an open mind. So at a dance call, you're taught a dance routine. So then they split you off into smaller groups, and you do the dance in smaller groups, and the groups can be from like 5 to 6 people up until like 3 people, so you never really know. And they basically evaluate you on how you're doing the dance in a group, and the auditors are just watching and taking notes, so don't worry about it. Dance call environments tend to be super duper fun. I know that I had so much fun at my dance calls, especially my Boston Conservatory one. I had a lot of fun at my Syracuse one. So know that all they want you to do is to do your best and just have a good time. And even if you're not a dancer, I think the most important part in the dance calls is to be expressive and show the emotion. So especially if you're not a dancer, make sure that you make up for it in terms of like facial expressions and be enthusiastic and positive and always be showing something on your face, whatever the song is feeling, and you'll be just fine. So in a dance call room, there can be between 1 auditor to 4 auditors, and they're all just kind of observing you and having fun. Sometimes there are guests that pop in, and it's super duper fun. I know Nick Adams came into my Boston Conservatory one, and it was so much fun to just like have him give us his insight on like what we were doing and give us advice, and it was just so much fun. So some songs that I danced to at my dance calls, it was the year that Greatest Showman was super popular last year, so Greatest Showman was very popular among dance call songs. So I did The Greatest Show, which is the opening, and then that was the Boston Conservatory, and then I did This Is Me for Syracuse. I also danced to Hairspray, I danced to The Wiz, I danced to really anything. They also had a rock song at the University of Miami audition, so you really never know what they're going to throw at you, but just have so much fun with it, and that's what a dance call is. Overall, the season can be insane. It was a lot, but it's the most rewarding experience ever because you gain so much knowledge and inspiration and motivation by your fellow peers. And like the way I looked at it, it was like I was mushed into an environment with all the people that I'm going to be working with in the future. So it was just so inspiring, and I learned so much from everybody around me. And so I encourage you to do the best and to not be intimidated by the process. To just go in with the knowledge of like, this is me and I'm just going to show them who I am, and if it's the right fit, it's the right fit. So overall, with Unifieds and college auditions in general, I'd say to just keep an open mind and to be friendly and passionate, and you'll have the most incredible time. The entire process was literally the highlight of my year, so it was just so incredible. I hope you guys have the most incredible audition season. Break legs, all of you. Please message me if you have any questions. It's such a joy to talk to you guys and to help you with any little thing that I can. And have an amazing audition. Break legs. Mwah.